Every Monday on Instagram, I do an Ask Marie Monday. I post the answers to all the questions I get in a story, but they disappear. So I wanted to do something that would last a little bit longer and answer a lot of the questions that I get on a regular basis. Okay, let's get into it. Question 1, how long have I been a realtor? So I got licensed in June of 2006. I actually took my test in Bend. I was in Redmond for a wedding, and schedule-wise, it just worked out for me to take the test in Bend. So I'm going on year 18 in June. Okay, question number 2. I always get asked how old I was when I purchased my first home. So I was 23. It was a new construction home. I actually slept out at a model home in another community to snag the home site and the home that I wanted. That's a whole nother story. But I reserved it and closed on it about 6 months later. Question number 3, everyone always asks me about Trader Joe's. This year I've gotten a lot of what's your current favorite treat. So that's a really hard one to answer. There are so many things I like there. I love their seasonal things, so it's kind of always changing. Right now I am really hooked on the cones with the chocolate in them. I think it's called like chocolate cone tips or something. And then they have these salted caramel cluster brookies. So it's like a smushed caramel with cookie and brownie and sea salt, and they are so good. Number 4, my favorite part of being a realtor. So there's so many things I love about this industry, but I would say for me overall, my favorite part is just the people I get to meet and the relationships that I have made with all of my clients over the years. That by far is the highlight of my career. Number 5, current read. So for all of you that have followed me on Instagram a lot, you know that this year a goal of mine was to read more. Truthfully, last year I probably could count the number of books I read maybe January through October on one hand, and then I really started picking it up in October. So this year I've been jamming through books. There's been so many good ones. Right now, my current read, I just actually finished this morning, is Relentless by Tim Grover. It was amazing. It's probably my new favorite book. Number 6, running or biking? So I have the Peloton bike, I have the Peloton tread, the darn bike, it's running, hands down. I try to get into the bike, I don't hate it, I kind of do hate it right now actually. I typically don't hate it, I just hate it right now. But I would choose running all day long over biking. Number 7, how did I get started in real estate? So this one's a little bit of a longer story, but to summarize it, I was an event and wedding planner. I was working, up to 90 hours a week, just really kind of capped out at what more I could do. And I had a friend who we would chat like once a week, and we were just chatting. I remember exactly where I was, and he was like, hey, I think you should get into property management. And I was like, okay. So I literally that night went online, started looking at property management classes to take at Portland Community College, and quickly realized that that was not what I wanted to do, and literally just switched everything over as I was checking out online to real estate. So I ended up actually going to real estate school at Portland Community College and getting all of those classes done, and then here I am. So it was really all thanks to somebody recommending that I get into property management. Number 8, so a lot of you have been asking me, should you sell your home or keep it as a rental in this market? That is a very loaded question because that's going to be case by case based on your goals. What I like to do is really sit down with the client and discuss long-term goals. What's the plan? What are you thinking? And really figure out my advice based on your scenario. Number 9, what's my current Starbucks go-to order? So right now, I'm currently obsessed with their cold brew with the pistachio cold foam, no pumps in the actual cold brew. All right, number 10, how did I end up in Oregon? This is a good one. So my senior year, I was a little bit of a slacker when it came to colleges. Somehow I ended up in charge of setting up the college football recruiters to meet with the high school football players at my school. So I actually ended up chatting with the guy who had come from Linfield to talk to the football players at my high school, which I went to school on Maui. And we just kind of hit it off. He was also from Hawaii, and he was like, you should come to Linfield and play soccer. And at the time, I was really not sure where I was going to apply. Ended up applying to Hawaii Pacific, University of San Diego, and then Linfield because of this particular person. I had never visited any of the schools before, And I ended up landing on Linfield because I didn't want to stay, I didn't want to go to Oahu. I did not want to run cross country, and University of San Diego gave me a cross country scholarship. So I ended up going to Linfield so I could play soccer and run track. And I had never stepped foot in Oregon. I flew over, landed at like 11 p.m. Soccer coach picked me up at the airport, took me to campus. I remember waking up the next morning at like 4:30 for like daily, like triple, quadruple, whatever workouts we had that day, and just thinking, where am I? What did I do? I was in complete like shock mode. But here I am, I stayed. All right, number 11. I get asked this one all the time. We're gonna wrap with this question, but everybody always asks me how I do it all, how I have time to do everything, and the answer is I don't. I have a lot of help. I don't do it all. You see what I do, you don't see what I'm not doing. So there's a lot of things that fail when you're putting a lot of time and effort into other things. So I will just say that I don't do it all, and I have a lot of help to do the things that I actually do.